Welcome back, everybody. Good to see you. Of course, today you join me in this creeper hole for a little bit of a transformation video. Because, of course, today what we're going to do is what I promised you in the world tour. Now, if you haven't seen that, that was episode 25. This is episode 26. And guess what? The next episode, I'll let you figure that one out. But for today, we, of course, have got two creeper holes, which probably should be filled in at some stage. But that's not the important thing. I promised you something. I promised you something very, very important because it was apparently the most requested thing so far for some weird reason, and that is how do I make these roofs, such as the one that's being stood on by that iron golem over there. I'm going to show you that, so just bear in mind that that is what this episode is going to revolve around. Roofs, the importance of them, why you need them. Of course, it's kind of obvious, but how you make them is the most important thing. Offer us shelter, offer us a bit of shade, and overall, the most important reason, they just look so darn cool. Not the reason that they make you want to rip your hair out by the time you're done building them. Because trust me, I've had many problems with roofs where you end up getting so far into them, you want to just leave it, make all your roofs flat, and never touch roofs again. Trust me, that's happened. That's happened many a time to me. Son, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to please sleep. Really? Is this honestly not dark enough? There we go. Okay, we're good. Great start. All right, so as I say, today what we are wanting to do is get these roofs on this particular house. Actually, let me just stand here. This particular house here. We want to make this into an interesting house in general. It's not just the roofs. Today is based around the roofs, but it's more about what we can do to make this house more interesting to begin with, and then the roofs on top of that, which is kind of my process, I guess, of building. And I don't often do anything with like a transformation thing in mind. Okay, no damage taken on that guy. That's pretty cool. But I don't often do anything with the transformation. I normally start from the bare bones of it and work my way up. But I guess this will be kind of fun, taking a general shape and doing it a bit more. And I've put some thought into it. And what I've done, and this is, I guess in some way we're going to be going through a little bit of a tutorial-y sort of thing. Not really. I want to make it light anyway. I don't really want to go too crazy. Maybe with the roofs we can go a bit crazy with tutorial mode, Jansey, but the rest of it I think will be all right. So pretty much what I've done is I've gone ahead, laid out where I think these blocks would go good to hold some support in this place. They help me build, of course, and what I've done is I've done something very, very sneaky here. Everything in between these two is odd. In between these two is odd numbered, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, odd numbered. Just take my word for it. If you guys don't want to count, take my word for it again. And over here, not yet visible, but that over there is odd numbered again, matching up with those there. And what we're going to do is we're going to tear a little bit of this away. We're going to put a little bit of it on. And what I thought would be kind of cool is to have two different roofs. So we can even go in with one roof that is a simple one and one roof that is a little bit more, I guess, abstract in some way. You're probably not going to think of it exactly the same way as those. But what we want to do is we want to go up, make a tall part of this building and make a lower part of this building. So it's basically got two floors with two different roofs, kind of like this, where we've got the one roof and another roof coming out the side. So that's the thing. And I guess first tip of the day, first tip of this episode is pretty much just make sure you work in odd numbers and your life will be so much easier. That's just like that is how I live with building, is just making sure everything I do is an odd number, because you know what, everything I do is somewhat odd, and that's all right. That's fine. We can do that. So bam, up there. And now I have got this, I think 3 blocks over. So we go 1, 2, and 3. Is that it? Really? I want to see, yes, good. I was going to say, I wanted to see one of my stripped dark oak log blocks over there. We've got them. Fantastic. So here I've just kind of gone up. I've seen how high I want to do this, and I'm just going to lay out all of these. It's not really too important, but as to what it looks like just now, what we are really trying to do here, I guess if I could maybe impart something of what I'm doing here, is I'm just trying my hardest to make sure everything lines up before I overcommit to these things, and then find out about halfway down the track that, hey, Jansey, you probably should have counted your blocks because they don't quite match up. It's happened many times, and I don't plan on doing that again. It's a little secret. I don't like building things twice. And I'm sure once you figured out you've messed up the first one, you're gonna not want to build it again. So there we go. That looks good. I think we are all good on the main platform. Let's just take a little step backwards and don't fall into the creeper holes. Yeah. Okay. So it's gonna look messy. Just bear that in mind. It's gonna look messy, of course, until we do the roof, and then the roof will create a bit of stability in this thing. And then once we've done the roofs, we can go onto the walls and everything like that. But I don't want to focus on the walls. As I say, it's roof expert building episode. This episode. So just bear that in mind. Now, what I think I'm going to do, because this is kind of important, I'm going to rip a little bit of this roof over here away. And in fact, should I? You know what? I'm not going to rip this roof away. I'll rip this side piece away, and then we can go ahead and we can start getting into a bit more of the meaty business of this build. I do want to show you. I've done some good old fishing, and we've got ourselves now 8 Nautilus shells. 3 more. I think we had 5 last time I checked in with you guys, but we've got a Heart of the Sea. 8 of those. I think we got a big project coming up that I think this will work quite nicely for. But more about that later. I do need to find this chest here, which is some of the other goodies we've got from fishing. The arrows are excluded, but look at this. I got an Impaling 4 book, and I don't actually have the trident on me here, but that's good for our trident. The other thing is, I noticed that this would have been in the very beginning of my fishing career here in the beautiful city of Spiritwood, or village of Spiritwood, is I got this Fortune 2 book, which I've kind of been silly to not put it on a pickaxe, because that over there will get us more diamonds than nothing, so I really should be looking into that. But that was just a little bit of an update on some of the things. Of course, we've got our beautiful mending bows and all those things looking real good over here, and our very good fishing rod. But there's one other thing, and I saw this, and I'm going to be working my way up to it very, very quickly. Now, since 1.13, there are so many good things that you have to think about in the game. You know, there's mending, which has always been there for enchanting, and now I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what is the most important enchantment in 1.13, with the exception of mending? For me, it is going to be this Depth Strider 3. This thing is insane. I really need those, and of course I've only got 20 levels right now, but Depth Strider will allow me to do everything I've ever wanted in the water and more so much faster. Like, I can't believe how I've been going so slowly. What is this? Feather Falling 3. We need one more level of Feather Falling, and those beautiful boots. And I'll be going real well. So that's the next thing I'm working to. It's not really an important thing right now, but I just thought, based on it being probably my most important enchantment in the whole of Minecraft 1.13, I thought it would be a worthwhile thing to really look into. And you know what? Another thing is, I'm going to start very soon, I'm going to be making a whole bunch of crops of potatoes or carrots or whatever we want. I'm going to see if I can make some more of these guys, and you know the business, and then all of a sudden, bam, we've got a fully thriving village again. So we have to get into work with that. If not, I've also got this fisherman around here. This is like the villager update. I feel like a news thing on the daily villager update. Fisherman villager sitting in boat, doing absolutely nothing, could help out the village. I think that's going to happen. All right, now backing up from that little update part there, I've got some good stuff to be showing you, and this is the meaty part of it. And I thought we're going to start off on this house over here, which is actually, it's had a few little renovations done to it in the past few minutes by me. Just made this wall a little bit more interesting by pulling it out 1 block to make this an odd number. Remember, you know what? Here we go. This is, as I say, the big tip. Odd numbers are your best friend. Just keep repeating after me, and you'll be all right. Trust me. Odd numbers are going to make your life so much easier in this thing. It'll blow your mind. It will. It really will. So I'm going to get started on how at least I go through these roofs with the process, and we'll go through every little bit of it. Just because, you know what, they're not an exact science just yet for me. I've kind of messed around with them a little bit, and I'm slowly getting my own footing with them as well. So don't be alarmed. They're not easy to get your head around, but it seems like a lot of people really do. So let's go for it. And the other thing to be on the other side of that, they're not that hard as well. So a little bit of a two-way thing here. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've just, on my support blocks over there, I've always put these out, just going out this way. I don't know why. I just kind of like them for the first one. So I just go ahead and I start off the roof as I normally would, where I put those over there on each side, and then I will start going up in the other direction. So this one's the only one that's kind of facing differently. The rest of them are just facing this way. You see that? Very, very easy. And of course, as I say, this is going to be a little bit tutorial mode, Jansey, but hey, that's what you get. Now, what I like to do, because I've kind of loved the way that these roofs overhang a lot more than my usual roofs. So if we step down here, this one kind of overhangs a little bit, but if you go over there, you can see there's 2 blocks overhanging, and you can do it a few different ways. But the way that I'm going to do it over here is like this. Let me just get up here so I can show you. So we've got these ones, which were facing in and out. Now, what we do is we go out one, so you see facing inwards and outwards, or whatever you want to call, up and down. And I just go and do the top one, not the bottom one. So I don't complement it with like a backwards one here, and that one's actually upside down. So I just go like this. And the reason for that is a very good reason. When I put them all together, they start looking real chunky. So when I do this, you've got this little thin layer over here and the thick one over there. That seems to work quite well to make sure the build doesn't look too bulky. And I'll demonstrate it. You see, like this, that just looks really, really chunky. And I don't like that. So I just take away one, and now it looks nice and empty again. Because, hey, that's just what I was hoping for. So we'll get back up here for the 1 millionth time. And this is, of course, just the simple stuff. I don't want to just get straight into the most difficult part about it, because it's not that hard, honestly. So here we go. Actually, I just did that by habit. But what I do is the top block here. We're normally going to do this and pull a block right across here for a normal roof, right? Like a slab. But I take that away. And before I do that, I put the one before the slab. I put one down there. It's got a nice little thing underneath it. And then I go ahead and I do the normal thing where I would pull it right over to the other side of the roof. Like that. Okay? So that's pretty much what I do for that. And then what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and add one extra one. So we got that nice little tip over there. You see that? Nice little thing poking up the top. Actually, these ones don't have them. Do I even have some of these? We can fix these up right here. There and there. Now, to make this a little bit easier, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the exact same thing as I've done here on this other side, so that we've got the roof looking exactly the same on both sides. Also, another quick one before I do that, is the other good thing about pulling this out 2 blocks from your wall is that it makes something like this, which is actually a square. This is 5 blocks by 5 blocks by 5 blocks by 5 blocks. You know what I mean? It's all just 5 blocks, but pulling these out on each side means that it goes longer than 5 blocks. So it actually adds an extra 2 blocks on each side. That's 9 blocks. So it makes it a rectangle look from the outside. So there's just a few cool things. I apologize if I've gone too crazy. Tell me if I was going too fast, please, guys. It's kind of one of those things where you just get used to the way you do your own things, but I'll be back. Okay, so here we go. This is where we don't have the exact science. So at least if you guys could do something similar to what I've done here, the rest of it is sort of similar, but can change depending on the size of the thing that we're doing. So let's just go up here, and we'll just do a little bit of a pillar up here. So the first thing is, let's go to the bottom before we fill in the top. We're going to go to the bottom, and the way that I like to do this is I like to keep this going up over here, and maybe it's better off if I show you guys what I'm talking about. And this is actually a good way to actually view this thing, the overall idea, the shape that we're going for, because a lot of the time the shapes in terms of roofs and things in Minecraft aren't really too easy to think about, because they don't really work the same way. So we want this to dip down at the top and dip up from the bottom. So it's going to come very, very small. You can see, look how small that part of the roof is compared to that, almost double over here. That's what we want. We want this to come in, that to go in, and of course we can make some interesting little stuff on the inside with how we work our blocks. But the most important thing, I think, to getting this roof to look good is just doing just that, because of course it's the main concept. You try and get it to go up in the middle and to go down at the top. We'll give that a go now. So right here, I like to just, you could really, like, let me show you. You could really use any block you want. So you could go do something like this, put these in here, and then another one maybe up there, right? So that's got you that shape, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like to do it in a few different ways. So I like to, instead of this one being here, it's just kind of a habit I've got into with these roofs because it makes my life a little bit easier, is I like to put in a stair over there and then do that, just because I like that little thing over there. Just a little bit of an interesting thing. So there's our first thing. Now, the next thing that I said was important was getting this top piece to go down. And obviously this is all dependent on how big the roof is, and you can see there's some where I've gone down one. I think that is actually, yeah, one, and then there's another slab and then a stair on that one. But it's all pretty much up to you here. But what I like to do is I like to go down there, go one more there, and we'll just do this here like this, get rid of these, and then we'll go out into the middle here. So you can see it goes down and smooths out at the bottom. Now we could go to something like that as well, or around there. Really not important. It's whatever one you feel. But the cool thing is now we've got the shape of the roof going there, the roof going up, and let's just go double check, make sure we do have this thing working for us from a distance, because of course there's no point in messing it up and then coming back and then doing it all again, because hey, look at that. Okay, so that sort of works. You can see the roof goes up there, goes down over there. And what I'm kind of thinking would look kind of cool is, because I've done this top piece a bit too long, it's sort of hard to actually see from here, but that's just a little bit too long. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up there and I'm going to remove one of them. So the importance of stepping back is oh man, so important. Just with everything, I like to step back a few times. So what we can do is we can get rid of this one here and that one there, and then we'll just do the same with these and just make it a smaller one inside here. Now, you can kind of guess where this is going to go. What we need to do is we need to connect this to this. But this is where it can look kind of funny. So one thing I kind of just do is fill in the sides that we know are going... Oh, oops. Fill in the sides that we know are going to be filled in. So I'm going to fill in some stairs around there, some stairs in here. So you can see the stairs slowly spread their way out to the bottom. And that's a sort of rule, but not really. But just try and think of that. Stairs to the bottom layer doesn't count, the top layer doesn't count, but the middles, they kind of do. So then we've got our stairs in, and we just have to fill in a block there, a block there. So now we filled in these. Then we could go ahead and we can fill in that one and that one. So you can see we've now only got 4 blocks to fill up. And what I can do for those is I can go ahead, just do this, or whatever I feel like, really. Just something like that, which fills in this area. And a tactical fall, the sun's going down. You can see that it sort of works. There we go. So that's looking a little bit better than what it was before. You can see we've got the sort of shape of the roof, but one thing I'm not a big fan of is how flat this roof looks, how small it looks on the inside. So what I can do is remember what I was saying just about stepping back, checking it out. We ended up getting rid of the one that was over here, I think it was. We could just go up one more there, and we can even just mess around with that roof just a little bit, and we can check how that looks now, where the roof should look a little bit more meaty. Yeah. It's really up to your own sort of building standard. Whatever you feel works. But for me, that's what I think works quite well there. So another thing, and this can sometimes be a little bit of a problem, is when you're building, for instance, I need to fill this block in over here with a block, and sometimes you have to just build around it where, for instance, now I've filled that block in there, but it does cause a bit of an issue because, well, it shows through the roof over here. So you sometimes just have to make a few little adjustments like that, and really take away. Make sure you do the sides properly, like what I've just done, and the bottom and the top, and then the middle it's really all right to be rough with it. Make sure you have some idea of where you're going, but be a little bit weird with it. If it does look a bit funny, most of the time it just blends in and you wouldn't even notice it anyway. And here is the product of some more complicated roofs. And just to put this to the side, I did do these slightly different to the way I've done these. You know, you kind of have to just use your imagination with them a little bit when you start going to a larger scale like this. So bear that in mind, of course, if you guys are trying this out, because I know for a fact that there's a bunch of people out there that really do want to try this. Let me know how you go, actually. I'd be very keen to find out if my mini in-series tutorial helped. I think it will be kind of cool if I can maybe develop a few other roofs, some like, for instance, the pirate area, a few things like that. Maybe I could do something really cool and do like a video to show you guys how I do these roofs. And a lot of it, as you'll find, is just a bit of messing around in the mind of Jansey. That's really what it is. There's just something that I figure out, and then I do it, and then I never actually realize what it is that I'm quite doing, and then the roof ends up becoming the roof, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But here, for instance, just popping in a few things like that, just looking around and inspecting. And by the way, what I said I do when I count my blocks and make sure all my pillars are odd numbered so I don't have to worry about it. Maybe someone even counted it by now. I don't know, but I did do one block. Those ones over there, I put one block too many out here. And oh man, I was confused. I was like, wait, I'm fairly certain I did this. Turns out I messed up a little bit, but that's all right. I fixed it up. It wasn't too far gone. Take it that way. It wasn't too far gone that I was going to mess up completely. I'm just going to try knocking these out. Here's just something I'm testing out, just because I think that it could look kind of cool. Bear in mind, this looks pretty darn awful without the walls in, but you know what? You guys get to see the build before I finish the build. So yeah, I'll have to do something like what I did here, where I go ahead and I put one of these in. Actually, I don't know how I feel about that over there. Maybe just over there. It does look kind of weird when I look at it individually. Okay, there we go. That's what I need to do. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Good job, Jansey. Good job. And I could probably get away with one over there. Yes, fantastic. See, just little things like this, just playing around with it, and it turns out I've actually done that. So you can tell there's just something happening in my brain that I've got a rule for, and I didn't even realize it. So that's what a lot of it ends up being, down to me just deciphering why I do things for that reason. Because a lot of it, I don't know. I just put blocks down, and that's just what I do. And look how close, 2 and 2, and in fact 2 of those are from us taking these down of these spruce. So I cut it real close today with the amount of spruce I brought. So I'm kind of impressed. Very impressed with what I've done today. So take these away. Let's go take another step back. And of course, this is an episode about roofs. Next episode, I'm planning on doing like the completing features of a house, just so like people know where I am. And I think it's fun to change up the episodes. Maybe do a bit more of a tutorial kind of episode. Do some more adventuring. Do some other tutorialing. Do some fighting of dragons. You know that's coming, and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. But today I think that we have done a very, very good thing, and hopefully it is the case. So let me know what you guys think about how we went today, if you guys are going to write, and of course, what else you guys want to see in the future. But for now, that will be me for today. So thank you very much for joining me here today, guys, and I will see you very soon.